I'd like to call to order the September 28th, 2022 Towns and Conservation Commission meeting at 7:01 p.m. Can I have a roll call, please?
Ann LaQuinn.
James Gates,
Kevin Smith.
Joan Savoy. Remotely.
This meeting is being recorded. Is anyone else recording? Chairman's additions and or deletions. I do not have any at this time, nor do I have anything to report. Review and approve the meeting minutes from 8/24/22. Did everyone have a chance to?
I did. I thought they were fine.
Yep.
I see no reason why we shouldn't approve them.
You know,
I'll make a
motion.
motion to approve the meeting minutes of 8/24/22.
Second,
Roll call, please.
Ann LaQuinn.
James Gates, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
Joan Savoy, yes.
Better slow down because we have a hearing at 7:10 and we're gonna have to sit quietly.
Take it out of order, take something out of order.
Yeah. 1/6 agents report. Jessica. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt. Hi, Kat.
Hey guys.
I know, sorry, worst timing for this cat to appear. All right. Agent report. This is work that was covered September 12th to September 23rd. There were no building permit interdepartmental signatures. We completed the referrals for 227 Mason Road for the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Planning Board. Board of Health interdepartmental signature was completed for 67 Highland Street. We have an ongoing request for an order of conditions extension at 27 Scales Lane. We continue to await one compliance item, which is proof of recording of the order of conditions. We have still continuing ongoing efforts to contact applicants with outstanding orders of conditions to get their certificates of compliance issued. The last couple weeks, we had 3 requests for certificates of compliance: 19 Main Street, 225 Mason Road, 196 Warren Road. Those were issued and signed and mailed out to the applicants on September 21st. During that period, also, we conducted desktop reviews and a site visit to 227 Mason Road for the referral purpose. Still ongoing researching certificates of compliance and administrative compliance for the Deer Run subdivision. We have an NOI for 238 South Row Road. Intake and processing was happening the last 2 weeks. We had a site visit on September 21st, and the hearing was scheduled for tonight. We have an NOI for 22 Sauna Row Road. The application as of the end of last week was still deemed incomplete. Preliminary coordination on a habitat management project in town. I attended a webinar on the conflict of interest law. I checked in on the status of work for all the recently issued orders of conditions within the last 6 months to a year to schedule upcoming compliance inspections with them. I assisted a resident with the preparation of a couple of RDAs for some tree clearing at residential property near the Squanicook River. So we'll expect those to come in soon. We had an intake of an email concerning a drainage swale in an agricultural field at 158 Main Street. And I did, outside of my 2-week agent report, I did reply to that concerned email today. So that'll be covered at the next meeting. I checked in on the status of communication with the land use coordinator and the happenings at 61 Edward Road. And then I reviewed and commented on the Townsend Wetland Regulations, Chapter 150-1 and 150-2, Sections A through K, which we will be reviewing tonight.
For whoever doesn't know, Mike Crowley did give his notice. I guess I should have said that in my chair's report. He gave his notice. Do you know when his last day is?
As of now, it is next Friday, October 7th.
Do we have a game plan on how, or if we need, because I know he's helped us out with a lot of stuff. Do you guys have that taken care of moving forward?
Yeah, I think we're getting as caught up to speed as we can on the things that he was taking responsibility for. So like, for example, 61 Edwards, we're just having some communication troubles with the landowner there, the resident there. So we're sending out one more letter. I mailed it out today, actually, just saying to contact me moving forward, because we've been having a hard time contacting him the last few weeks. Sorry. That's Gary, by the way. Yeah, so we are trying to connect on outstanding things as much as we can to try to get them probably not resolved by the end of next week, but
No, I just didn't know if
hand it off.
there was a game plan.
Yeah.
All right. 7:08, so we have 2 minutes. Do we know if Linda Mack is going to be joining us at 7:10? I know she's.
I understand she's not coming tonight.
That's what I understood too.
We did, Matt, go for it.
I called her this morning, asking if she could come just for the hearing tonight over Zoom, and she said possibly. And I haven't heard word back from her yet, so probably doesn't look good right now, but who knows?
Well,
Give her another couple minutes.
yeah, so Jessica, how are you making out with inspecting the town or the conservation owned properties in town?
Wow, we literally just talked about that today. Great question. We haven't this summer just because everything is very overgrown, and with leaf on, it's near impossible to walk through the woods. So yeah, I think next meeting agenda or the end of October, we had actually planned to put that back on the agenda to get you guys up to speed and try to get some more volunteer help for that. But I think of like the 32 conservation owned properties, we've visited 8 or 9 of them so far. So we've made a decent dent, but those are just sort of the less than 5 or 10 acre parcels that are, we can walk through in 30 minutes to an hour or so. But there are several more that are, 100 or 200 acres. So we'd probably want to recruit a little bit of help with those. But I mean, it makes the most sense to wait until leaf off to do that.
Okay.
But the biggest challenge now is we've been getting a lot of inquiries about hunting on conservation owned land, but from the parcels we've seen and know about that are Conservation Commission owned, none of them have property boundary markers on them. So to us, it implies a safety concern for hunters and just other recreational users on the parcel. So we want to try to get some boundary markers up before we really promote more recreational use on those parcels.
Okay. Well, it's 7:10. And we don't have So there's no quorum. So Kevin Smith is recusing himself as the applicant for the project of at 238 South Row Road. And so the conservation does not have a quorum to open the hearing. If no additional commissioners join before
We
tonight.
have a representative, but I can't. I have to
Oh, that's
abstain.
Chris
Can't
McKenzie.
do it, but Chris McKenzie is,
The
Yeah, but
engineer.
you're the applicant, so.
yeah, so,
No additional commissioners joined before tonight's meeting is concluded. This hearing is continued to the next Conservation Commission meeting at 7:10 on October 12th. Due to this continuance, there will be no project discussion at this time. Sorry, Chris.
did you get that, Chris?
Okay. Should I hang around to wait and see if anybody's coming in, or are you expecting anybody to?
We were optimistically hopeful that one of the commissioners was gonna pop in, but I don't think they are, so.
All
I
right,
don't wanna keep you.
I'll leave myself logged in here for 5 or 10 minutes anyways. If someone pops up, then we can go. If not, otherwise we'll go to the 12th.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay, work session, 3.1, summary of discussion with town council regarding, Townsend Wetland bylaws, chapter 138. Okay, can I see that plan?
What do you need?
The plan, just.
Oh.
Jessica, I'll let you lead this.
All right, so as you guys know, over the last several meetings, we have been reviewing our Townsend Wetland bylaw, chapter 138, for educational purposes, and then where we can improve on clarification for our residents to understand the bylaw. And once we all conducted our preliminary review of it, I took our comments and notes and feedbacks, and I met with town council on August 30th about it. Town council was in agreement with everything that we were proposing. They are definitely proponents of us trying to clarify things. Also clarify, but also try to shorten and sweeten things where we can. So under section 138-1 and 138-2, for the most part, those were just sort of poorly written and was providing poor guidance for applicants for the submittal process of applications. So the first item that we spoke about for a while was regarding isolated wetlands. And if it would be good, because isolated wetlands are not regulated by the state, they are only regulated here in town. So if it would be beneficial or not to define what we believe an isolated wetland to be. So town council agreed that we should define it, but not make it too stringent of a definition. But that we can research what size isolated wetland is generally jurisdictional in Massachusetts on average, what size isolated wetland starts providing function and values that of the 8 function and values that wetlands typically serve according to the Wetlands Protection Act. And at least try to make that size, whatever it is, our minimum size of isolated wetland to be jurisdictional. So it's probably not going to be, you know, a little 10 square foot pocket, but something maybe more along the lines of 200 square feet, 5,000 square feet. We don't know. So that's some research and review of other bylaws that we're going to have to look into. But yes, it probably would be good to set some sort of size for that. And then there was some confusion over the submittal process for NOIs versus RDAs, and just how the timelines outlined in our bylaws were kind of conflicting and swapping back and forth between NOIs and RDAs, making it very confusing. So that, yes, we should just clarify some of the wording in there to make it easier to follow. The next item for discussion that we really had was under 138-7 definitions, to the no disturb buffer zone. So town council highly advises us to not just leave the language only in our chapter 150 regulations, but to put it into a bylaw. He was saying it's not appropriate to create a no disturb buffer zone outside of a bylaw, and it's better to clarify it in a bylaw so that it can be defensible in litigation. A no disturb buffer zone should not just be limited to a definition in the bylaw. It should be defined, but it should also be elsewhere in the bylaw, that the Conservation Commission has the authority to implement the 35-foot no disturb buffer zone. So just, we'll sort of need to pick and choose the best location to implement that, so that it's clarified better than what we currently have in chapter 150. And then our other discussions were about chapter 138-9 under violations. So there was some just difficult wording to understand. It was a $300 per violation per day, something like that. So he suggests $300 per offense. And that, in addition to me having an enforcement option and you as the commission having the ability to issue someone a court date, send someone to land court in air. We also have sort of like a ticket option, you know, like how you can get a parking ticket or whatever, via a non-criminal disposition. So he provided some guidance where I could look up that process. So that's sort of like a fee warning, however we decide to implement its system, that could be used. So that was general summary of my discussion with him. And then I said that once we finished discussing chapter 150 regulations, that town council and I should meet again to go over our comments and suggestions, and then we can actually get to work on some potential revisions to propose for the town meeting next year.
Okay. Do we have any questions, discussion?
Yeah, fine. We should handle it.
Joan, do you have anything you want to add or comment on?
No, I want to thank Jessica and Matt, though, for the continuing work on this, and I really appreciate you nailing down what we have to do about the 35-foot, so thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, 3.2, review Townsend Wetland Bylaw, chapter 150-1 and 150-2, A through K.
Should we do that when we have everybody here?
Jessica and Matt, or even Joan, because you're on Zoom, and asked if we should discuss the chapters 150-1 and 150-2 when more commissioners, if not all, are present.
I believe it makes sense.
Kevin says it makes sense.
Yeah, that's up to you guys, really. I'll just explain my timing. of it all. So annual town meeting is in early May. And from what I understand, the sort of the sequence of events to occur is that I mean, I will need a couple months probably to actually put my revisions into writing to make sense and have them reviewed by town council and have them reviewed by you guys. And then I think they need to go to Board of Selectmen for like preliminary approval before they get on a warrant for annual town meeting. I think, Matt, if you know any differently, feel free to chime in. So with all the different sort of approvals and reviews,
I'd like,
That's just
yeah,
a
I'd
lot
like it
of
all
months.
wrapped up. I'd like it wrapped up before February. And there's a bunch to still go through, and we have Christmas and there's only one meeting in December, so,
Right.
in November, yeah.
in November, so.
So if we,
there's plenty
I
of
know
time.
not all members are gonna be their next meeting either, on October 12th. So that means we wouldn't pick it back up for about another month.
If you have a voting to
So we probably have chapter 150, sorry, we can cover, I think in 3
I don't-
meetings.
And I don't see it being a lot to go through tonight. I don't. It looks to be just a bunch of grammatical stuff and adding under,
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like proposing
Yeah,
additions or changes, I really don't have much in the stuff that we were gonna discuss tonight.
well, it's okay to go through it, I guess, a little.
But-
What's your feelings?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say anything, but, oh, Jessica froze.
Uh-oh.
The cat logged her off. You there, Jessica?
No.
Oh,
Oh.
you there?
Everyone's all frozen. Oh, are you back?
You're frozen. Yeah,
you were frozen.
I know. You all froze, so I figured it was me. I totally missed whatever you said in the last 45 seconds.
yeah, no, this isn't something that just gets done overnight, and I think if we go through it now, you know, some of these loose ends I like to have tied up. I don't know if I'm allowed to say anything, Jessica, but tied up before February.
Uh-huh. That's,
So-
yeah, that's, you can tell them after. Yeah. I'm not leaving world, don't worry. Yeah, no, so, I mean, yeah, and anyone who is not here at this meeting, I mean, these will be in meeting minutes, and then, of course, we're here, staffed in the office 3 or 4 days a week at your disposal for any questions too. So,
It seems pretty simple, so I feel that we can go through it. I don't think it's gonna cause any rifts, and you know, none of this really is. It's just cleaning up stuff, so
right. Okay,
let's keep pushing.
all right, let's
I'd
do it
say-
then. All right, so tonight we're gonna
Mhm.
review chapter 150, wetland regulations. We'll review 150-1 and then 150-2, items A through K.
Jessica, do you need screen sharing?
Sure, thank you.
Okay. Should be
Many
all set.
thanks. All right. Let's see. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
There we go, cool. All right, so again, just like chapter 138, I'm not gonna read through everything verbatim. I did not have any edits to the purpose section of 150-1. I think those are clearly outlined. 150-2 general provisions. I would like to clarify how wetlands are defined. because it's not just defined by vegetation. Wetlands have sort of a 3-parameter approach of vegetation, water tolerable vegetation. Hydric soils are sort of evidence of being waterlogged soils, and hydrology, so some source of water, surface water or groundwater evidence. So I'd like to add a little bit of clarification there. In item B there, I just want to add that a permit is required for any alteration proposed to wetland resources. And then skipping ahead, not a whole lot that I think needs any changing or clarification.
Yeah, if you're only doing A through K, that's it.
And then here's, so K is a little bit longer, but so K is basically the plan requirements. So the following information is to be shown on plans. I added notice of intent plans, just because we don't require plans for any other application. Some of the struggles that we see on a lot of our plans are existing and proposed features and not all of them being shown. So under number 5 there, I'm requesting that we add some clarification for what is required on plans.
That's really nice. Thank you for that one. I like that. Thanks.
And then, yeah, number 7,
Will.
just adding a little clarification for 35 feet buffer, 35-foot buffer, which will be hopefully further clarified and defined and discussed in chapter 138. But just wanted to add a little bit of clarification here. And then that's it. So if you guys need any clarification on any of these sections either, of course, right now we can go through that.
Does anyone have any questions, comments, additions, deletions, thoughts, prayers?
James, I just like to say, I think these are minor but meaningful changes.
Agreed.
Yeah, no, I agree, John.
Yep, so do I.
Thank you.
It's the little things. Kevin, do you have anything that?
No.
Man, I wish we could keep going now, but we can't. Darn it. Anyway. All right. Yep. So for the next meeting, we will cover L for fees. And then, sorry, all of 150-3 definitions. I'm just gonna go fast. And then probably stop there. But we'll adjust the agenda if we decide we want to go for more once I review them in more detail.
Thank you, Jessica.
Yes.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
listening.
Thank you, Matt.
Okay. I'm gonna keep moving forward.
We're on the roll.
What?
I said, we're on the roll.
Correspondence, votes may be taken. Environmental notification form for the Harbor Trace PFAS water treatment plant. So the plans are on in the file. And there is a remote consultation session Tuesday, October 4th, to receive advice and comments from agencies, officials, and citizens regarding which environmental issues, if any, are significant for this project. Opinions to the extent and significance of possible environmental impact will be welcome upon request. Interpretation services in Spanish will be provided. Deadline to request these services October 2nd. The Tuesday, October 4th, 2 p.m. And they requested our RSVP, which I assume this email is in our file. Comments on the project will be welcome in writing prior to October 13th. Certificate on the ENF will be issued on October 24th, 2022. Deadlines are subject to change. Please check the environmental monitor for up-to-date comment period deadlines.
The email is in the file, James, by the way.
Right, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
If anyone was looking. Jessica, do you have any feedback on this for us, or?
Well, it's more of a notification at this point, but I did go through it briefly today. And there was a wetland delineation completed for the entire project footprint. So it's both for the water treatment plant and then also for water main. I don't know if it's replacements or extensions or like a brand new water main. I'm not quite clear on that yet.
There's an existing water main that runs through there, and there will be a second one that runs next to it. So one will be an intake and outtake.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So with that, the footprint, I think it's about close to 3 miles of new water main will be installed. So there are several areas that the new water main will cross through wetland buffers or stream buffers or through current stream crossings in culverts underneath the roads. There's probably 6 or 7 of those. So I do know that we are going to be getting an NOI sometime in the next month-ish or so for that. But if you guys have any comments or concerns at this time, just more from a resident standpoint, you are of course invited to present those on October 4th.
Okay. Anyone have any comments or questions, or
Where will this meeting be held? Do we know?
it's remote, so
Oh.
I assume it will be yeah, it's a Zoom, except Microsoft Teams,
Mm.
or you can call in. And they ask for an RSVP, so.
Yeah, it looks like there's no physical location.
Yeah.
Jessica,
Yeah,
will you
so-
be attending or being
I-
on? I know it's your day off.
Yeah, off. Yeah. I don't think so, just because I don't have any real preliminary concerns at this time, because I know an NOI is coming.
Yeah.
So yeah, so much of this project is going to be outside of our jurisdiction. So we can't really control that. But that being said, if you guys do have preliminary conservation concerns and can't make this meeting, I can at least try to attend, or at minimum, you guys can send me your questions or concerns and I can put them in a document to the project contact to be addressed at this meeting. So.
Yeah, because, well, written comments on project will be welcome in writing prior to October 13th, so. I guess if anyone has any comments in it, that they want passed on behalf of conservation, if they send them to Jessica well ahead of time, so that she can submit them on our behalf. But again, there'll be an NOI, so
We can, yeah,
Mhm.
go like that.
And we are, part of the reason that they are submitting this ENS is that because they do meet the criteria of exceeding some of the MIPA review thresholds. And then they also require state agency permits. So that's why they have initiated this ENF process. And they have already acknowledged as part of a state agency permit that the need for a permit from the Townsend Conservation Commission. So that's already been transparent that we will be playing a role in this.
Sounds good.
Kevin, do you have anything you want to add, or Joan, do you have anything you want to?
No, thank you.
So 3.2 review, oh, sorry, 4.2, ZBA notice of public hearing for 161 Brookline Road. Townsend Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a virtual public hearing on October 19th at 5:45 via Zoom video conference on the application of Brendan Kavanaugh and Addison Newt for the property located at 161 Brookline Road. The applicant is requesting a special permit. I'm not going to read all the numbers. Outlying commercial district uses allowed, special permits of the Townsend zoning bylaw. The applicant is requesting a special permit to operate a storage facility. Parties wishing to speak in support of or in opposition to this application may do so at the hearing or in writing prior to the hearing. Copies of this application are available for review at town hall during business hours. Yeah. I don't have any comments. Does anyone else? Kevin? Joan? Okay. Moving on to education and conferences. Yeah, again, the MACC is doing the fall conference.
Yeah, the only thing that's new there is they're having a fall conference on
at
October
Devon's.
15th in Devon's. Yep, if anyone's interested. I put how to register in the education folder.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, and I know we've been receiving emails for it, so. Space is limited, so register early, it says. And they're still doing online classes. Items for discussion at next meeting. So we're doing one.
2.1, that notice of intent.
Yep. Well, which notice of intent?
One for DEP 308.
Oh, 693.
Yeah, 0693.
Okay.
Yeah.
We also have the MVP and HMP plan discussion. Did you bring the binders that were on the chair, James?
Of course.
Nice. Two of those are physical copies of the plans, because I know people are interested in reading physical copies. So if two of you wanted to take them out and then return them either, you know, Friday or next week, so other commissioners can look at them too,
Okay.
be awesome.
Um, Okay, and then, yeah, the towns and wetland bylaws, chapter one, whatever we left off at.
150.
Mhm,
where-
150, yeah.
150.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm gonna look over what's upcoming and then decide exactly how much we should go through.
okay, that makes sense, because I know last meeting you said we had a bunch for this one, and
I know, and I was clearly wrong, so maybe I'll load up. Next meeting, what else? Matt, there's something else on there.
Will you, excuse me? Didn't Beth want us to comment though on the certain sections in the binder there about section 1, section 6, a couple other places? Didn't she want Conscom to specifically comment?
Yeah, in the OneDrive folder under correspondence,
Yeah.
under MVP and HMP plans, is an email outlining which sections you guys should focus on.
So should we comment on that at the next meeting, on those sections?
Yeah, I would come ready for an open discussion since Beth will be present.
so Ann's gonna take one and I'll take one. And then I'll bring it back. End of the week and we'll get hers back
Yeah,
whenever.
Okay. There is in that same correspondence folder too, there is the electronic copy for anyone else who would prefer that, just FYI.
Okay,
Matt, there was something else that we put on next week's agenda.
The hunting on Townsend conservation land discussion.
Oh, yeah. Yep, that thing. Yep.
Yeah, because we've gotten emails from residents about that.
Yeah.
so
Um,
Kevin stepped out for a minute and we can't adjourn without him.
I
But
thought it got quiet.
we can hear the cat purring, just so you know.
Sure. Yep. Keeps me up at night.
So how do you plan on delineating the bounds for the conservation properties for the larger parcels?
good question.
Great question.
Or have you thought of how you might want to?
So, because it is a gigantic animal to tackle, and we just do not have the resources to do that. I don't even know if we have the records of like the deeds or plats or anything for like the meets and bounds to really even know where the property corners are. So we have, at least for now, been advised to put, like we ordered those like property boundary markers that we can nail into a tree. So we'll put at least a few of those up on the parcels that have obvious road frontage, that are like the most likely contenders to have visitors. And that's sort of as far as we've gotten. But I took, oh, I forgot which one it's called, but the MACC fundamental in the 200s, like managing conservation lands or something. And they were saying like you go out with a GPS and you stake granite markers and rebar boundaries, and it's for towns that have billions of dollars to burn. So it wasn't really in line with our town.
Well, no, but you can get apps for like the iPad that you're supposed to be getting, that will help guide you at least to get you rough boundaries.
We have like rough ones from just like Mass Mapper and Mr. Mapper, the state and the town GIS. So it's like better than nothing. So I mean, we could of course be on the conservative side, but
utilizing your iPad to walk the bounds or get close to them, you should be able to, because I've done it before when I've had property line questions. It's usually when I've crossed over the property line though. But
yeah. when you're
don't know, I
knocking down
just-
that stone wall. Yeah.
No.
Never happens where there's a wall. It always happens where there isn't one.
So, I mean, that's, I think
You wet
before we
over
make
here.
before we make a big plan, we also just want to visit more of the properties to see if some of them do have signage.
A lot of the
But,
town
yeah.
conservation, a lot of the town properties they're all bounded and described, a lot of them are walled in, so.
Yeah,
See
you look
something.
at like the one up at the Harbor Farm at the end of Harbor Lane. Cause there's that parcel in there that,
Yeah, that's
You wouldn't know
mostly,
whose it
mostly a tree parcel, though,
yeah,
you know, it's fairly easy to define.
yeah.
We at least know where they all are, but we just don't know like where they end.
Do you have, the
So-
people that have emailed you, is it specific properties they're asking about to hunt on? You have acreage to hunt state land.
Right,
Well,
yeah,
it's
so
not
they,
a
they're
town
just asking
conservation,
on,
you know, on it?
No, you can, they just, but there's no
Oh,
delineation.
I see.
You know,
I
the
see.
state does,
Yeah.
don't ask me, how the state does it and their property markers, I swear they're spot on. But. You know, they,
Fire
I think all they do is just go out with GPS and,
Well, they are now, they never used to, they used to do jumps, but they were always pretty darn close.
yeah,
Because the GPS doesn't always work accurately. I found on a piece of our land up in that family land up behind the old quarry, it was mismarked by about 50 or 75 feet. So it does happen, you know.
right,
I mean, even like for my old job, I used to use a sub-meter GPS and we would still get sub-meter. It's supposed to be sub-meter accuracy and we're still getting like 30 or 40 feet accuracy, if that,
Bigger,
so.
on a bigger parcel, that's not, you know, that happens.
Right. So, but no, so far the inquiries have really just been, what are the regulations for hunting on conservation land? So that's pretty vague, but we don't really have anything that we know of at least.
Oh,
So
in the
we
state
do just
line,
direct
right?
them to the state wildlife management area lands, because we know they have maps and boundary markers and things.
what's happening with these hunters is that you can download apps, and I know because you can do it for off-roading. You can get these apps that will give you parcel owner information, and then they know who to contact to get permission. So they might see these parcels and say, ooh, this doesn't look like it's been touched in years.
Mhm.
Those are
That's
pretty,
right.
those work well because we get 3 or 4 phone calls a year. People asking to hunt on our lands, and it's usually people find it on that hunt stand. I
Yeah,
think that's an app for sportsmen or something, and it'll come. It's pretty darn accurate too, and it'll show it.
yeah,
Shows it, and it shows our names and trusts and such.
yeah. I've got the Polaris one, and I was fooling around on it the other night.
The-
Laying in bed, I was like, oh, conservation owns this land, and then, you just go down this rabbit hole, but.
Yeah,
It
Before you
gives
know
you
it,
the.
you're down in a rabbit hole.
But it gives you the name, so I think that's probably why or how. But yeah, no, delineating and
Supposedly there's some app that you can get onto, and I don't know how to get onto them, but it'll actually somehow download your public contact information or something. I don't know how they do it, but it's usually young people that are pretty computer savvy people.
all right, well, Kevin, do you have anything you want to add to the next meeting, or Joan, do you want,
No,
Ann?
I make a motion to adjourn,
I'll second that.
7:50 PM.
Roll call, please.
And look where, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
Joan Savoy, yes.
Thank you, everyone.